Tonal Ashley, Semilla del Sol, Seed of the Sun. Etched in the face of most Mexican Americans are traces of their cultural roots. Traces that go back to a time before Christ, before the United States ever came into being. Over the lands of what we now call the Americas lived people and nations that spoke in the language of symbols. Images etched in stone as well as paper, images rooted in nature and the cosmos. The indigenous people before Columbus had a relationship with nature where man and beast, plant and rock, stars and sun were part of the kinship of creation. This philosophy, this relationship, these symbols are at the root of Gabriel Gaitan's art, an art that applies these symbols to create and relay a message ancient in meaning, but relevant to our contemporary existence.
Gabriel Gaitan is an artist who was born and raised in El Paso, Texas, and uses his art to celebrate his indigenous Mexican roots. The migration of his parents to this country brought with them a millenary heritage that Gabriel attempts to embody in his work. We as human beings have always been fascinated with the cosmos, and the indigenous people of Mexico created a relationship with it. You find evidence of picture writing, village layouts, pyramids, artwork, murals, mathematics, medicine, calendars, sports, and their way of life. We receive heat, light, and energy from Father Sun. The grandmother moon lights up the night. Mother Earth nurtures us.
Creation.
In this painting, we find a relationship with creation, moon, earth, and humankind, a cosmic family. Cosmic energy was used to create Tenochtitlan, Mexico City.
Mexico Tenochtitlan.
In this painting titled Mexico.
Sun Dancer.
This painting pays homage to those Chicanos who participate in the Lakota Sun Dance for 4 days and nights with no water and food. A ceremony of one's sacrifice to appreciate the sun's energy and light and the nourishment we receive from Mother Earth. After this ceremony, one becomes humble and does not take natural things for granted. Mesoamericans have always used art to picture write their books. When the Europeans came to Mexico, there were more than 100 tribes and their languages were all different. Art was used to communicate. This particular page from a Mexica book illustrates the history of Mexico City. After a long journey, the Mexica people were to find an eagle on top of a cactus plant in the center of a lake where 2 rivers cross. This page contains over 50 years of history. As the saying goes, a picture tells 1,000 words. Another example of picture writing is when you see a seashell symbol in front of someone. That person is speaking of the symbols that surround him. This is the way books were picture written. The persons that wrote these books were called Tlacuilo, one who writes with paintings. These were wise artists because they did not only know how to paint, but also they had a wealth of knowledge. Presently, we use symbolism to communicate with other countries. In business globalizations, it's cost-effective to use pictographs rather than translating words. For example, in this illustration, we see a circle with a line across and with a picture of a cigarette. This says no smoking, and everybody around the world can read it. In your modern vehicles, pictographs are on the dashboard. Lights, temperature, battery. Ancestors from Mexico use the same visual literacy to communicate. For instance, here's a sculpture with a skull symbolizing death, surrounded by a sun symbolizing life. This is a balance. For something to die, it must live. Our brothers and sisters in China have a similar symbol called yin and yang, night and day, positive and negative, male and female. This Mexica sculpture, half Persian, half skull, also depicts the same symbol of balance.
Happy Death.
This painting, titled Happy Death, celebrates one of Mexico's holidays, Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. This day is originally a Mexica Day, is depicted on the sunstone, but the celebration was for a month, not only a day. Mexicans are one of the few peoples in the world that celebrates death. It's time given to the ones that have passed on to the spirit world. Death will come to all. Celebrate life now. Life is not to survive, it's for living, so enjoy it.